Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Bronson. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to it as soon as I can. But this is for Home Alone, the 1990 film. Which this was nice to revisit again, especially during this season. Because I do think Home Alone is a classic. I saw this many times when I was a kid on VHS tape. I have enjoyed it ever since. It's directed by Chris Columbus, who would go on to do Mrs. Doubtfire, among other movies. And you have a lot of talent involved. You got John Williams doing a wonderful score that really encaptures the spirit that the films is going for. Macaulay Culkin, new fresh-faced child star. He had been in films like Uncle Buck. John Hughes worked with him, so when he wrote the script to this, and was definitely a driving force behind this, he definitely suggested that kid for the job. Now, Chris Columbus did see other kids. I guess, hey, I'm a director. I should make that a bit of my duty. But Macaulay Culkin definitely had that charm that made him a very good kid star. I didn't find him annoying, didn't find him irritating. I thought he really worked well for what needed to be done with the movie. So while Macaulay Culkin is great, for me the MVPs are Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. Which I know at one point Daniel Stern was not going to be in it, and they actually cast another guy, I think it's Daniel Roebuck. But they kind of saw quickly the chemistry was not the same, so they got Daniel Stern in. Because I think the schedule was going to be extended, but they were not going to pay him more. And he's like, well, screw it, I'm not going to do it. But I guess they decided to pay him. But those two worked so well as Harry and Marv. They work perfectly with each other. They have great chemistry. They have good back and forth. They have wonderful reactions to the various traps in the finale. They're excellent. They're a lot of fun. My favorite parts of the movie and the second film are the two of them. You also have Catherine O'Hara as the mom, John Hurd, may he rest in peace, as the dad. I thought all the various kids, including Kieran Culkin, Macaulay's brother, they worked well for what they need to showcase. Just, I mean, they're not in the film too much. It's the beginning and little teeny bits throughout. The guy who plays Buzz, I thought he worked very well as the older, bullyish brother. Definitely when you think of bullies or you think of dickhead older brothers, Buzz definitely comes up to par with that sentiment. And just the way the music is incorporated, whether it be the actual Christmas songs, like from the beginning, just showing the chaos of the house during Christmas and all the different kinds of kids. And for some of them, like, they're only on screen for a little bit, so they gotta have some kind of bit to make them stand out. I always remember the girl who spoke a bit of French, l'incompetente. I believe that girl will go on to be the lead in Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And I think for some reason she's not in the sequel. I could be wrong, but I swear to God she's not in the sequel. And I'm like, what happened to that character? Did she die? What happened? If I'm wrong, forgive me, but I never knew what the hell happened to her in the second one. But yeah, that Buzz, he has some fun bits. I would not what was it? I would not let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass. Or later on when he's giving his reasons, he's like A, 2, and D. And I thought he really made a believable, dickhead type of character. I mean, people know the story of Home Alone. Buzz is a jerk. Kevin gets in trouble. He wishes he was alone. The power goes out. The family's in chaos. They get to the airport, get there in nick of time, but they forget one thing. Kevin McCallister. He was in the attic. He's left home alone. And the rest of the film is him dealing with being alone. And then these two robbers, Marv and Harry, trying to outwit them, trying to steer them away, and ultimately defending his house at the end of the film. Now, I think what made the film a hit was a lot of the stars aligning to a pitch-perfect element of fun and charm. The premise, I think a lot of kids could relate to the premise, or at least like a weird type of wish fulfillment. What if you're able to have the house to yourself, and then what if you're able to do the things you're not supposed to do? You're not supposed to eat whatever food you want, or watch whatever movie you want, in this case this gangster movie. Order the pizza that you want, all that stuff. To be able to do whatever you want, but then eventually you don't miss your family and realize, your family is needed and wanted. As well as showing one of their own, like a kid that is of your age, being empowered. Because Kevin becomes a badass and kind of a prequel to Saw. Where he's having all these traps and defeat the bad guys, and you have some really good stunt work. I gotta give credit, which I don't know if that's given enough credit, to the stunt people involved with this movie and the second one, which Bronson wanted me to review as well. In both movies, they feature excellent work by the stunt people. And you look at like the hard falls, going down stairs, looking like they get hit by paint cans. Stuff that's not easy to do. Or at least if done, and done wrongly, you don't get massively hurt. Now, yes, it is, when those scenes happen, a live-action cartoon. We all know that those various traps, which they have done stuff on YouTube, Home Alone R-rated, that you would die in a variety of ways. You either go with it or you don't. To me, I went with it as kind of a Three Stooges. Being a big fan of Three Stooges, I love that type of stuff. I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. Same with growing up with Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Steered Stupid. I remember the name real quick. Because the damn movie's now on fucking Blu-ray. Let's get them on Blu-ray. Well, they were on Blu-ray. That one was, but out of print. Ernest Saves Christmas was never on Blu-ray. Come on, goddammit. And whatever happened to that damn Jim Varney documentary that was announced like 5 years ago? But anyway, going off tangent. But yeah, the credit goes to the stuntman. Very, very hard to deal with that stuff and partake into that without getting hurt. So credit goes to them. John Williams' music, whether it be the softer moments, or my favorite piece is when he's in the church, he talks to the old man Marley guy as he realizes he's got to get home the plan. Kind of that get into action film. Dun 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 dun. Because John Williams, of course, is known for the wonderful work he did in Indiana Jones and of course, Star Wars. So some of his other movies may get a bit under the radar, but his work definitely deserves a commendable stance on this movie. And the movie just has a fun vibe to it. The home has a warmth to it. Macaulay Culkin, you can relate to his character being at home, at peace, by yourself. And I think he was able to showcase a sense of maturity so he could make people buy into that is he by himself, but he's acting like he's not by himself, and he's acting like he's a lot less scared, a lot more adamant in his goal, that other kids may not have been able to accomplish that. My point is, not every kid would be able to do what Macaulay Culkin did in this. As you could tell in Home Alone 3 and 4 and 5 and whatever the fuck else was made after it. I don't remember. Wasn't there? Yeah, there's six. Is there six of them now? Yeah, because there's the three, which I know people like that one. I think Home Alone 3 fucking sucks. Home Alone 4 definitely fucking sucked. 5 fucking sucked. I think there was Home Sweet Home Alone, which was the worst. So I think there's six of them. And you see the way those kids act, yeah, what Macaulay Culkin did was a bit special. Like when he's bluffing his way to the store clerk, you think I'd be here alone? He sells it. He sells it. He's adamant about it. So you get why people would buy his story. And not go, is this adult fucking idiot? Of course this kid's lying. No, his delivery, you buy into it. And it is weird, speaking of that store clerk, that there is that trailer where there's like a character right behind the store clerk go like saying the lines. Like, what are you doing here? Are you alone? And that guy like never pops up in the movie. But he's saying the lines that the girl clerk says in the movie, so I don't know if maybe they thought that guy sucked at acting, so let's reshoot the scene. Which, probably for the better. Catherine O'Hara and John Hurd do fine for what they need to do. Catherine O'Hara definitely, you buy into her shock and her worry when she finds out what they accidentally did. And you buy her, what's the opposite of excitement? Freak out. Being worried, trying to be adamant, trying to get home to her kid. And you really buy the fact that she cares for her son. She's worried about her son. She's going to do everything she can. And certain little threats that she does for people that get in her way and try to get home to her son. I definitely thought Catherine O'Hara brought that energy that you bought into it. It didn't feel half-assed. John Hurd, great actor, sadly he's not given much to do in this or the second one. Which was a missed opportunity because I thought at least in the second one they could have given him more to do. But I'll talk about that when I talk about the second one. It was interesting that for both this and the second one, they came up with movies within movies. Was it Angels with Dirty Souls or something? Like the gangster guy. But it definitely had the right inflection, the right tone of voice for that guy. That definitely, I could hear his voice right down in my head. Before I pop you full of lead. I'll give you snakes. All I gotta say Kevin, if you think that's hardcore, I just show you a lot of movies that would make that movie look completely tame in comparison. You ever seen Scarface? You ever seen, Friday the 13th? But I get it. They wanted to... I guess nowadays they probably just show an actual movie. But actually... They probably would, just to get a recognition of another familiar property. But here, it's because they have to use it within the plot. In this case, steer the pizza guy. Well, something about that was weird. I couldn't quite get my head wrapped around it until seeing it again. The reason the parents are late is the power goes out and it goes out, then goes back on again. They slept in, and the guy goes up and tells her, well, the power's on, but the phone line is going to be down for the next couple days. He says that. The phone lines are down for the next couple of days. Which is why they... But it's weird because they do call a neighbor, which gets on an answer machine, because Daniel Stern hears it and goes, hey, that guy, that house we went to, is that the McCallisters? So they're able to leave a message. See, that's a whole weird thing where I guess that one block has no phones, but then how did Tim McCallister call for a pizza? Because he does call for a pizza and it gets delivered, but how did he make that call? Because he, and if the phones now are working, why don't the parents keep? You would think they would keep trying to call every hour or every 2 hours to that place. Oh, the phone's working? Then they could tell Kevin, hey, sorry this happened, we're in Paris, we'll be back for you soon. So it's like Kevin can call to get pizza, but no one is calling the house, so you don't have the phone ringing. So it's like, okay, it's not like he has a cell phone in his pocket, this is 1990. So that's what I mean, like, what did he write a letter to the pizza delivery guy? Yeah. So it just, they didn't really think things through on that. I know it's not a big deal, but it's just one of those funny things you think about. And also, he's pretty adapt, ad, adapting to his environment is pretty common nature for him. Like, to be able to makeshift that party, that is some Jigsaw type shit for later on. I mean, there's the fun theory that he did become someone like Jigsaw later on, making all these elaborate traps. In this case, like making this with the Michael Jordan cardboard, all this stuff. I wouldn't know how the fuck to do that. What is he supposed to, like 8 years? Was he 8, 10? I don't know how old he was at this point. I wouldn't fucking know how to do that at that age. Sorry, I had a brain fart in there because Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci, I was in deep thought on that, where could this film have worked if two other people were in those roles? I don't think so. I honestly think a big amount of the success, I wouldn't say the big, but I don't know, they are a big reason why this film was such a big hit, was the way those two worked with each other, interacted with each other. Because even just their dialogue between the two, hey, we're the wet bandits. You're sick. What is it? You're a sick thing to do. Or, go check it out. And Daniel Stern's like, now? No, tomorrow. Now! Daniel Stern, great actor. Ever since, from back in the 80s, doing films like Chud, to throughout the years, City Slickers, which I think was after this. And then Joe Pesci, known for you. Well, actually, I think Goodfellas was the same year as this, so he had done comedy in films like Easy Money with Rodney Dangerfield. And of course, after this, there's My Cousin Vinny, The Super, which are fun films. I miss Joe Pesci. I mean, I know he came back for The Irishman, but I know he retired, but I do miss the guy. Very talented guy. But again, they just worked so well with each other. And of course, I want to mention John Candy, who of course had worked with John Hughes a lot. Got him in. He did one day. I think they shot for like 23 hours and did all this stuff where apparently most of the dialogue was from him. They had like nothing, he just came up with stuff. Like apparently when he's talking with Catherine O'Hara about accidentally leaving his son and at the coroner or the mortician mausoleum, wherever it was, like left him there. Apparently he made all that up. And I don't know if it was filmed, but I guess in the script there was a last scene where Catherine and John Candy said goodbye to each other. I mean, if that was shot, that'd be interesting to see, but sadly that's not in the movie. But as much as the first 2/3 of the film work, where you really, for me, feel for Kevin McCallister, Macaulay Culkin did a bang-up job as the lead, again, the great music, and the stuff with the older guy, Old Man Marley, where there's this myth legend that he's this killer, but he's really just a lonely guy who has issues with family, and Macaulay gives him a few words of advice, and go check it out. Try It's Christmas. Even that's a bit sweet, and not too overly sentimental. While there's a lot of fun to be had, the third act is really, I think, what most people remember from this. And I guess I would say the Macaulay Culkin's a big reason. Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci's a big reason. The third act with the traps, I think, is, I would say, the number one reason why this film was such a huge hit. Because of the culmination of those actors involved with the traps. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Because there's other films that have had traps. Hell, Home Alone 3, 4, 5, but those three characters in the traps, that combination, is what made this such a huge hit. Because it's fun to watch it. You can marvel at the stunt work, cringe at just how much pain some of these things would be, like the falling down the icy steps, or getting burned on the door handle, or the tar and the nail going in the foot, or the one that always got me is when Daniel Stern's got the Christmas ornaments and stepping on them, and there's that one light bulb that I remember cringing each time with that. Yet the flamethrower that burns up Joe Pesci's head, and his reaction is hilarious because he can't curse because it's rated PG or whatever. So that's why he's doing all that gibberish. Because he can't curse. Which, from what I heard, Joe Pesci, that was a bit for him to get used to, not be able to curse. He was annoyed by that. But I mean, what do you expect? The BB gun to Joe's crotch and Daniel's head. The paint cans. Just a lot of great fun stuff with the slapstick and the traps themselves. The way Daniel and Joe Pesci sell them is what makes it funny. Like the tarantula and just how high pitched Daniel Stern's screams are makes that hilarious. And then when the tarantula gets on Joe Pesci and Daniel's like, "Don't move," because he's going to hit it. The way Joe Pesci sells it with his face, his fear. "Marv, what are you doing? Marv." Like just how low, like quiet and pleading. "Marv, what are you doing? Ooh, what you, huh? You like that, you jerk?" Until you get to the end where they got the kid, the old man saves the kid, everything's hunky-dory. It also makes you wonder, how did the parents never realize what happened to the kid? The two robbers. Yeah, I think there are these things called trials, and there would be witness. The cops did come to the house. Well, did they? Was it? Or did he? Or did he go to the neighbor's house? Either way, the kid was involved. The cops would have known that, so they would. I mean, unless the old man just took all that and decided to be the whole fucking witness. But you think the cops be like, "Hey kid, you don't be a witness here, explain what happened, all that other stuff"? I don't know, it just seemed like the cops somehow, some way would have contacted, the... I don't know, I guess it depends on how it's worked out, but just interesting that I guess the parents never, at least we're never told they ever find out. Even by the second film. Which I think that would have been interesting if Catherine O'Hara and Kevin both had to deal with them. And then Catherine O'Hara realizing what happened the Christmas before and what her son's capable of. I mean, at least they could have brought a bit different dynamic. But that'll be with the second film I'll talk about. But Yeah, this film's a classic. It's fun. It's charming. The cast does a wonderful job. The music, it definitely gives you the Christmas spirit with the music and the score. The lead kid is charming. The villains are a whole lot of fun to watch. The traps are entertaining in a Three Stooges way. Just a fun movie. To me, it's definitely a classic. Definitely one of my favorites when it comes to Christmas films, and great all around. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And next I'll review Home Alone 2, which was also requested by Bronson. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.